Okay, so let's see how we can create something inside Houdini. So you have a bunch of stuff here, and you can use these buttons to create stuff. So let's say we want to create a box. You can just click on the box and it will automatically appear on the viewport, and it'll be just waiting for you to indicate where you want to create your box. So I click there and the box is created. I have an object on my network editor, and I have the parameters for that object on the parameter editor. If you want to move, if you want to scale or rotate, you can. You have the gizmo available. If you deselect the object, or if you press enter or escape, the gizmo disappears. If you want to get that gizmo back, just select the object here on the network editor and then press enter, and then you're back to the options available for what you have selected. And this is something that's recurrent inside Houdini. Whenever you want to have access to the options of whatever selected on the network view, you go to the 3D view and press enter, and as you can see here, we have a bunch of quick access to most of the parameters that are associated with this box. Now to delete, we just press delete, and let's see how we can create something else. Let's see how we can create a sphere. It's pretty much the same principle. So if I click on the sphere and I just choose a position, and there it is. If you, instead of just clicking on the buttons, if you hold Control when you click, then it's going to be automatically generated at the origin. That's something very useful for whenever you want to create lights or cameras. Cameras in particular, whenever you want to create a camera, you can just choose the angle of view that the perspective that you want, and then just hold Control, click on the camera, and you'll have your camera created automatically based on your view. Okay, if we zoom out, we can see we have the camera exactly there. If we want to go back to the camera, we use this little button here, Cam 1, and there we have it. The easiest way for us to change how the orientation of the camera is usually using the navigation tools, and you can lock your view to the camera by using this little button here, lock camera, and that allows you to still be in the camera and change the position of the camera and actually see what you're doing. It's a pretty neat feature that some applications don't actually have that available, and it's really handy. Now we have these two objects here. As you can see, this is a geometry object, this is a camera, and we're inside this context. Remember, we talked about context, and let's have a look at context. If you're working in technical view, you'll have quick access of this. If you don't have, never mind, it's not really that important, just so you can see how many different contexts you can have. Someone once referred to Houdini as kind of an operating system, and it makes total sense, because if you look at the symbols and the names, it's kind of as if this was an operating system and you're just creating elements inside folders and folders and subfolders, and you can dive into them and all that stuff. So you can see here on our object context, we have a sphere and a camera. Inside our sphere object, geometry object, we have an actual sphere, and you can see the path here as well. So we're inside the object context and inside the sphere geometry object, and now we have a sphere, an actual sphere node inside there. Everything is going to make more sense once we start actually working on something. That being said, let's see how we can get in and get out of navigate through these elements. So we're not going to be using this tree to navigate. Most of the time we're just going to be navigating here. How can we dive inside one of these nodes? The way to dive inside a node, you just double click on it. And the way to go out, the fastest way is pressing U. The letter U to go up, the letter I to go inside. You also have the ability to go back. It doesn't mean that you're going to go up necessarily. It's just go back and forth through the history of your navigation inside the network view. And that's basically it. Notice that whenever we select something, the parameter editor will automatically update to whatever we have selected. So inside this geometry object, This geometry object is called a sphere, but it's actually just a container. Inside of this geometry object, we can create whatever we want. Okay, we can go inside and let's say we want to create a box. We can press tab, type box, and there we have a box. So now we have a sphere and a box inside this geometry container. Let's go back a bit. Let me delete everything. Most of the time, the first thing that you do as soon as you start working on a project is you're gonna press tab, and notice all the options that you have here. You can also press tab on the 3D view tab, and you have a lot of options here, pretty much the same. When we're in the network view and as I was saying, when you start to work on a new project, the first thing that you're going to be doing is going into your network view, pressing tab and type geo, enter, and there we have a geometry container. It's called geo1. Inside this container, there's nothing. So you double click to dive inside, and you'll see there's absolutely nothing. But that means that you can now populate this with whatever you want. You can create a box. Same thing, just press tab, type sphere if you want, create a sphere. We can create a line. And let's talk a bit about these flags. So each one of these nodes, and even when you're at this level, each node has a couple of flags associated to it. This is the display flag. When you hover over something inside Houdini, you will usually get an explanation, a shortcut key, some indication, some quick help about whatever you're hovering over. So that's really useful and something to keep in mind. In this case, we have the shortcut key. The shortcut keys for the transforms inside Houdini might seem a bit different. Let me put this into the box. And the shortcut keys, just to go over that very fast, very quickly, regarding the transformations are, let's say I'm gonna press T, and T allows me to move, to transform the position. R, rotation, and E, scale. That's basically it. If you try to press W, W is just gonna activate or deactivate the wireframe view. Okay. If you want to have a look at the wireframe while in shading mode, you can do that. Let me just deselect. If you press Shift W, you're going to be activating the view of the wireframe in shaded mode. If you don't want to remember all these shortcut keys for display options, you can have a look at the display options here, and you have a bunch of them. So flat shaded with wireframe. Now back to the flags here on the network view. So the network view, you have these flags. We know this one is a display as it indicates, and the other one is for selectable. So if you disable this flag, just means that I can't really select this object. If I go into selection mode, I can select that object. If I don't have it, I can't really select it. To go into the selection mode, you can either just go here to select or press S to activate the selection mode. All the nodes inside here have flags as well. So this is go through bypass, just means that this node would be ignored. This is for the display. You can when you're inside a geometry container, you can only display one element at a time. So I can't really have a look at the box and the sphere and the line at the same time. What I can do is I can enable this flag. Okay, this is a template, and just means that this is going to be visible in wireframe. Let's say I can even add this one. You can have multiple ones in as being displayed as template if you hold Shift. Let me just put these to the default values. Quick shortcut key for putting anything to default values, just hold Control and middle mouse button on the name of the parameter, and it's gonna put everything back to the default.